It's really accelerating now, and it's really exciting because a lot of the foundation that's been laid over time is now proving to be, not only functionable but ready to go. And a lot of the legislation that's passed over the years, has created a foundation. So it's really now just a matter of connecting the dots. So that's why I'm excited that everybody seems to be recognizing that they all have a dot. But I do think that the network we bring can come to NIBS and actually deliver on a roadmap that we can work on so that by May, we've actually implemented something that is going. I'm already implementing it, and everything I'm doing is open and transparent, which is why I'm so engaged with universities. Our objective is for everybody to know how this works, not by exclusivity, not by endorsement, but because it's plug and play. So that's what I see as the big picture of convening everybody toward a common goal. Now I'll turn it over to.
Yeah, so NIBS was put into place by Congress in 74 to be a non-government, nonpartisan, neutral, nonprofit organization. We're sort of like a kind of a ghost in a way in terms of like structure. We sort of float on our own with the sole mission to act on behalf of the American people when it comes to building science and technology. So we, if we make any money, it goes back into standards. If we do projects, they're specifically selected to have an impact on the industry. Things like design and construction, we don't do that. There's lots of other folks out there who do that well. If it's a novel technique that needs sort of circulated through industry and help with adopting, then we can step in to help with that adoption cycle. But that's our main role, is to be sort of like a neutral advisor and lifter of the industry.
University. Kuilin, you're coming from another. Calvin, you're coming from another. Jorge has been with me now for a while. Jorge, can you describe what you're trying to do at Texas A&M and how you as a mentor, look forward to meeting the other mentors and having your students engage with their students to collectively, inspire creativity? And, that's kind of the goal of the AI contracts.
Okay, so I live at the intersection of multiple disciplines. And what made me connect with Dixon is that there are three elements that I know are necessary when you're trying to do something really, really innovative. Number one is pluridisciplinarity, which means many disciplines without getting into the in-depth of inter, multi, cross, trans, and all of that. It's basically being able to bring together people in a formal organization where you don't have to pay or pay. It's like a sandbox, and that is a collaboratory. And in today's world, what has happened is that it needs an infrastructure that is cyber infrastructure, which is another official term for the platforms in which they operate. And in the case of our industry, and what with Dixon we have been trying to do is create also an observatory of knowledge that is applied and actionable. When you have that, it's like having a smorgasbord of opportunities, which you can then pick and choose whatever plate you want to do. One person that you will know is Carson, who is one of my students. And when you get a knock on the door that says, "You changed my life because of what we saw in the classroom," that validates for all the failures that I may have had as a professor.
Son, I'm going to call on you. You're one of the stakeholders that are trying to develop a contractor system. And so clarity on how contractors will need to plug and play obviously advances your ability to deliver software. You were part of the CURT group that brought us together. You want to talk a little bit about how you see the importance of this convening to create clarity around just one data set and what it can unleash?
Well, sure. The first thing I want to say is how much I appreciate Jorge's insight and perspective on where our industry is and where it needs to go. So I really appreciate that. I'm kind of working on a greenfield platform for the construction industry. We're starting with a clean slate. We're not bringing along any legacy technology or techniques. And
So, Paul, if I could touch on you, you've been one of my inspirations. what are you looking, if NIBS were to ask you, what do you want from this summit? What would be your answer to NIBS so that we can provide you what you're looking for?
Clarity. That's the outcome I'm looking for. The XBRL that you introduced me to with Al Berkeley was something that is already an institution in the financial world. The clarity that I'm looking for is for how we can transpose the success of XBRL in the publicly traded company world, and how that reporting happens to the SEC. I'd like this to be an effort that we have the clarity and the direction, with NIBS being the overall entity that's guiding along this standard, so that it could be implementable in existing workflows and potentially changing workflows. With the endeavor that I'm on right now to take a software company and create a services company out of it, this is going to be a critical element of that. We're not going to create the software company to be a bank, but to be the connector for all transactions using blockchain. Right now, we have under construction right now what will be the world's most used and most valued blockchain in the world. We've incorporated some amazing agentic AI in order to help with a lot of that. That's going to start first with smart contracts. So we have a mass customized way of localizing contracts, all sorts of contracts, not just the AIA versions or the AGC versions, but mass customized versions through Zetlin and DiChiara, the number one construction law firm, contracting law firm in the country out of New York. And this mass customized way of doing that is then going to take into account that the blockchain is actually a general ledger. Now you start to see why XBRL becomes a really, really big deal, because now all of a sudden I can actually do all transactions on every local project around the world instantly. This will also create a way of creating data that is trusted because of the immutable data way of how blockchains work. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about how people see the standard being used, because I'm looking to implement, like you said, not just have a PowerPoint with a really cool idea. This is going to be a big deal because this company that I'm taking private is very large, huge customer base, and we can actually do something about changing the world. So it's good to see people that I've worked with since the beginning of my career in here. Roger, hello. It's one of these cool moments that we are seeing an alignment both outside of our industry and inside of our industry, that the transactional models of a financial services company that the world's never seen before is possible. So I'm looking forward to hearing more, Dixon. Thank you.
So, David, I'm going to hit on you. David and I met a long time ago. David, you've been involved in a number of trade associations working on standards, and we met at the Digital Twin Consortium, which was a combining of the OMG group, which we dealt with way back when. Describe, if as somebody so familiar with standards, how we can put together a summit that synergizes your legacy into something for the future. You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm kind of here as a last minute hanger on, and I'm glad for that. But I mean, in some, I mean, I've been down this path before in oddly comforting ways. I mean, this is the construction side. I was headed up strategy for McGraw-Hill Construction in the 90s, and was deeply involved with SIFI and other organizations, including NIBS, in many different ways. But then some years later, I was asked by the chairman of the SEC to step in and create the national XBRL program for companies and ultimately other entities. In my current role, I'm at the Enterprise Data Management Association, which is both OMG for creating of standards and DTC, the Digital Twins Consortium, and creating new standards for, in this case, standards for a digital twin kind of future. This has been done before. It's a difficult and lengthy or could be a lengthy effort, but it really requires the kind of passion that I'm hearing here from folks, and the kind of leadership leaders from both the the finance side, the construction side, presumably also from the technology side, in order to make what could be a very long effort become intense and manageable and generate real benefits. I mean, the benefits can be enormous from this, and I'll stop there. But I'm keen to be helpful in every way I can.
Well, I appreciate that. And so, Phil, I'm going to jump over to you. You've been so gracious and possibly hosting us on May 5th. What are you looking to get out of the deal, and how can we create a summit that is good for your university and for your students?
Oh, definitely. Thank you, Dixon. So just for everyone, Dixon and I met at the Digital Twin Consortium. That's what David just mentioned about. That's really a nice place to talk about this. I had a long conversation with Dixon about the digital transformation, starting from the early computers to the digital earth, and then looking at the cloud computing, big data, cyber infrastructure. Now we finally nailed down to digital twins, which kind of is driven by the problems, but with the objective to solve the problem. I think that's different from any of those previous digital transformations. So we're really keen on this, working together, and really thanks to Dixon for bringing this wonderful team together from the financial side, from the accounting side, from the building science side. I think this is the mix you need to have innovation going on, and specifically.
Well, thank you very much for being part of it. And Calvin, if I could ask you for a quick moment on, obviously, the BuildingSMART initiative is one of those data standards we want to synergize. It's a big player along with the Digital Twin Consortium. What can we do to make it a successful summit for you, for your students, and how can we make it to where your objectives are met?
Thank you all. I'm Calvin Cam. Joining me here, it's Tony. We also have Janice and Min along with me. With Strategic Building Innovation, we are a boutique management consulting firm looking at how to bring technology applicable, how to bring innovation for an AI nowadays, and how we can fill this gap and maybe some proof of concept. So we're exploring, we're here to learn. And along also with Roger and Jay, among other, and my teammates here, we are all part of volunteers for BuildingSMART, BuildingSMART USA, BuildingSMART International, how this may fit with international standards, information requirements, information exchange, how we can also promote what we do internationally. I think that's also something we're exploring. My third hat is that I'm with Stanford. Saifi, great to hear Saifi a couple of times here from David, from Jorge. I serve as a adjunct professor, so I also would love to see how we can make that tie. So I'm here to learn.
So hopefully the no rules deal and creativity fits perfectly with your model. Kuilin, I know you've from Michigan Tech University. If you'd like to introduce yourself or if you have any questions, you're welcome to.
Hello, everyone. This is Kuilin Zhang from Michigan Tech. I'm professor in civil engineering, particularly on transportation. I just learned this opportunity from Dixon with my colleague Chaowei. I just, my first time to learn this. Hopefully, we have our students to join this activity. Thank you.
Well, welcome. And yeah, it's a little overwhelming, particularly when you first hear about it. But I think as time goes on, we hope to make a very valuable contribution to each one of you, for each one of your universities. And we hope to get a great experience for the students that participate. And then at the end of the day, we can unleash the power of data standards that we've all been working on through the years. And I'll let, I really appreciate everybody's contribution. This will not be a one-man show. We hope to make it a synergy that brings together a lot of talent, that when they see each other personally, start to make the personal connections that actually help move this ball forward.